Welcome to Sports Savvy TV. Let's get straight to it. Kevin Durant has an interesting decision to make. This is a legacy-defining decision that he has to make. You know, Kevin Durant is one of the best scorers the game has seen. 25 plus for most of his career. This past season with the Phoenix Suns, he put up 27, 53% shooting, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's still balling. But I can't really respect them numbers. The Phoenix Suns didn't make it to the playoffs. With numbers like that, you're supposed to at least make the 8 seed. When you look at Kevin Durant, since he left Golden State, he's just been another guy in the league that could put up points. He never been on a team that could contend for a championship. So I ask you, how great is Kevin Durant? Because the only time, we really acknowledge him like that is when he won a championship with the Golden State Warriors after joining a 73-19. In most eyes, that's considered the weakest, softest move in NBA history. When he was a part of the Brooklyn Nets, that was a failure. When he teamed up with Harden and Kyrie, he went to the Suns. That was a failure. He can't go to the next team and fail too, man. His legacy gonna take a hit. The teams who are interested in him are the Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Knicks, and the Spurs. There's a lot of news going around. He should go here. He should go here. But you have to look at everything. You can't just be like, oh, this team has a nice player. He'll play good alongside him. You got to look at everything. When you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, a lot of people say that would be a nice spot for him. It would. The pick and roll with Kevin Durant and Ant would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. They both would score 25 apiece. That would be ridiculous. But when you look at the rest of the team, I'm not sure that puts them in the Western Conference Finals against the OKC Thunder. Because Naz Reid, his contract up. He didn't already say he want them to back up the Brinks truck. They're not going to be able to sign Kevin Durant and sign Naz Reid. I'm not sure they go with the 37-year-old over the 20-something-year-old. I'm just not sure you make that move like that. When you look at the rest of the team, Mike Conley, he just as old as Kevin Durant. You sure you want him as your point guard and an old 37-year-old at the 4 or the 3? Two 37-year-olds starting, man. That's not a recipe to win right there. And then you look at the rest of the team. Like, what you going to do with Julius Randle? If he do come back, he probably have to take a pay cut. But what if he don't want to take a pay cut? How you going to fill his shoes? You know what I'm saying? Rudy Gobert, he can't go nowhere. They done invested too much in him. So I don't really know about the Minnesota Timberwolves like that. Because any team that signed Kevin Durant, man, like dude getting $55 million, yeah, that's a lot of money, man, for a guy in his late 30s. Whoever signed him, they got to be willing to give him a 2-year extension. He's due for that July 6th, up to $122 million. That's a lot of money to invest in a guy on the back end of his career. Another team that's being talked about is the New York Knicks. Now, we seen Jalen Brunson wasn't enough to get them to the NBA Finals. They need another scorer. They need another guy side Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, that could come and get buckets D-up, help the team. Okay, that would be a nice spot for him. Kevin Durant then voiced his opinion on many occasions that he would like to play for New York. But look at the team. What assets you gonna give up? Josh Hart not going nowhere. Brunson ain't going nowhere. Mikal Bridges ain't going nowhere. You just locked in OG Anunoby. He ain't going nowhere. They have no assets to get him at all. You know, they traded away all their picks to bring in Mikal Bridges. If they would have kept them picks, they would have had a chance. No picks, no real valuable assets to trade for. He can't go to the Knicks. Oh, you gonna give up Karl Anthony Towns? Cat wasn't the reason they lost. Now Cat could play soft and not big as he need to play at times, but it's not easy to replace a guy of his talent. You know what I'm saying? Ain't many big men out there that could shoot like him. Ain't many big men that could go in that paint like that, handle business like him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see them really trading Karl Anthony Towns for Kevin Durant. It just don't make sense to me as a guy looking from the outside in. You know what I'm saying? But I think I know a little bit about basketball, man. Now, when you look at the next team, the San Antonio Spurs, now this is a very good destination for him because when you look at their team, Wemby, Fox, CP3, Stephon Castle, and Kevin Durant, man, that would be trouble. That would be trouble. But you got to ask yourself, who will they give up? Not before I get to that, first of all, you go into a San Antonio Spurs team who got their first year coaching the team. Do you really trust the coach? You know what I'm saying? And when you look at the other assets that they have, now I'm pretty sure the Spurs could give them some picks or whatever. But who they going to trade for? Who they going to give up? You know what I'm saying? The Spurs got some nice players, but don't think for 1 second that the Phoenix Suns going to just take on garbage and just give away Kevin Durant. They hold leverage right now, and I'm pretty sure they're going to use it to the best of their advantage. They supposed to. That's how you negotiate. Now, if they let Kevin Durant, they trade Kevin Durant over there for a Coke and a smile, then that's on them. They should never be able to win again. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant, he got to make his mind up, man. Real talk. I'm going to get to the last team in a second. But if you find yourself enjoying the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? But look, the last team is the Houston Rockets. In my opinion, the Houston Rockets makes the most sense. You know, you got a coach he's familiar with Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka is respected, man. Did you see what he did with the Houston Rockets? That team has taken on his identity. Kevin Durant would love to play for a guy like that. You know, when you look at their team, when you look at the Houston Rockets team, they got some nice pieces that the Phoenix Suns could use. You know, Kevin Durant won't win a championship. The Houston Rockets are right there knocking at the door. They're like a player or two away. But if you bring in one of the right players, he can eliminate the other one. You know, and a guy like Kevin Durant could do that. The Houston Rockets need a guy that can make shots when the offense, you know, can't really get going. They need another scorer. You know, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm looking at this like this here. Dillon Brooks, Cam Whitmore for Kevin Durant. I'm making that happen. Phoenix will bring in a veteran guy in Dillon Brooks and a guy in Cam Whitmore who just waiting for the lease to be cut from around his neck so he could go. Dude official, man. He just don't play enough. You only get better when you get playing time. Houston don't really got no spot for him like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they got a Wiggle Reed Shepherd up in there. Cam Whitmore ain't really got no spot to play like that. So I think that would be the move. You know what I'm saying? Both teams could agree on that. I'll make that happen. You'll bring Kevin Durant in with the Houston Rockets with Fred VanVleet, A dude who done been there and done that. Got a championship ring. You got Jalen Green. Also, you still got Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson, Steven Adams. But if they don't want to go that route, look at here. Jalen Green, and give them maybe a pick and probably Deshaun Tate off the bench or something like that for Kevin Durant. Man, that's a deal, man. That's a deal. I'm taking that in a heartbeat. You know? They can have Jalen Green. Jalen Green, not what's up. Until they get rid of that dude or he develop his game, Houston Rockets will never win. But if they can get Kevin Durant and put him beside Fred VanVleet with Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson, Reed Shepard, Cal Whitmore, that would be a problem. And the Houston Rockets still building the team. They got picks coming up in the draft. They're going to add nice talent. I think if Houston make the right move, I see them in the Western Conference Finals against the OKC Thunder. You know? You got to take a chance. You want to win a championship, man. But when you go back, let's talk about the Knicks for a second. I wouldn't go to the Knicks. The Knicks don't know what they're doing. They interviewing all head coaches that got jobs already. How about giving Mark Jackson or Sam Cassell a call? They didn't call Billy Donovan, who's the head coach of the Bulls. They didn't call Quinn Snyder, who's the head coach of the Hawks. They didn't call Chris Finch, who's the head coach of the Timberwolves. Man, come on, man. And they called Ime Udoka, who's the head coach of the Rockets. How you fire your coach and don't have a backup plan? Get it together, New York Knicks. Get it together. That's just my thoughts on this whole Kevin Durant situation, man. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Where do you think he should go and why? Until next time, this is Sports Savage TV. Stay safe out there. I see y'all on the next one, people.